Dear audience, let's come and learn together, enjoy together. Hello friends, welcome to my channel Gyanmala. In this video, we are practicing English learning. Before starting the topic, I will show you some pictures and we will discuss the questions. Yes. Now, look at the pictures here. You can see different pictures here and there are people doing something. Yes. Now look at here. Here are some questions to discuss. Where are the people? We will discuss where are these people and what are they doing? Where are the things? Let's come to this first picture. We can see two boys riding on a scooter. They are riding on a scooter. Similarly, when we go to the second picture, we can see a man on the horse. He is riding the horse. Now, please come to this third picture. Where is the lady? She is in a car. She is traveling in a car. And come to this one. Where is the man? What is he doing? Okay, you are right. He is on the boat and he is fishing in the river. The fish are in the river. Look at this woman. She is working in her office and at this time she is at her desk. Yes. When you see these girls, what are they doing? Okay. One of them is looking at the mirror and our reflection can be seen in the mirror. Yes, we can see our reflection in the mirror. Look at this boy. He is sleeping in the bed and at last come to this bird sitting on the branch of a tree. Okay. When we observe each picture and the position of the people or things, we can find the answer is connected with in, on, or at. Yes, these are prepositions of place or position. There are so many prepositions of place or position, but in this video we are discussing only about on, in, and at. Yes, the whole video will be discussed about these three prepositions. We will learn in detail. Yes, look at here. Prepositions of place, in, on, at. This is our topic of the video. Okay. Dear learner, in this chapter we are going to learn the use of prepositions of place or position. Mainly we are discussing the use of at, in, and on here. Look at this chart. The chart shows the use of at before some positional words or before some words that denote position or places. You study all these words. These are some examples. There might be other words before which the preposition at is used. Now let's come to another chart. The second chart shows the use of on. On comes before these positions or places. Yes. And the third one is in. In is followed by these words, these positional words. Yes. You study all these examples and learn the use of prepositions. Okay. Dear learners, now it is a time for practice. Here is an exercise. Look at the pictures and write answers. You can use in, on, at for your answers. Look at here. There are so many pictures and each picture is connected with questions and some clue words. Yes. For example, look at this first one. What is the man doing? Okay, he is reading the newspaper. And what is he reading in the newspaper? He is reading news. And the news you can find in the newspaper. We say in the newspaper. We use in before the newspaper. Similarly, you practice the answer of these questions. Yes, look at the pictures and the clue words given to you and you try to find the answers of each question. You remember that you use in, on, at in your answer. This exercise tests your knowledge about the use of in, on, and at that you have learned till now. Okay. Dear learners, in this chapter we are discussing the use of at in detail. Here are some situations and examples where we use at. Now look at the situations. At for point. At denotes the point. Look at the examples here. There is somebody at the door. At the door means at any point of the door. Janet is working at our desk. Write your name at the top of the page. At the top of the page means any point on the top of the page. Now let's come to another situation. At for next to something or by an object. Sometimes at means next to or at means by. For example, she is at the door. She is at the door means she is near to the door. She is close to the door. At the table. She is at the table means she is standing at the table. She is working at the table. She is near to the table. She is by the table. Come to the another situation. At for events where there is a group of people. Sometimes at denotes the event. At comes before the event. There were many few people at the party. There were very few people at the party. At the party. Well, party means a group of people where there are many people. He is at a concert. In concert also we can see many people. We use at a concert. Let's come to another situation. At for specific address. When we talk about specific address, we use at before the address. For example, Sita lives at Purnavas at Kanchanpur. This is address and we use at here. Now on right side there are some other situations where we use at. Use at to talk about buildings. Yes. For example, I stopped at the shop and the shop is in the building. At the shop, at the university building, at the college building. There is another situation. We use in to emphasize that we mean inside the building. But when someone or somebody is inside the building, we use in. Yes. For example, I was in a bank when you came. In a bank means inside the bank. Look at here. We use it when we see cities as points on a journey, and in when we see them as enclosed areas where we stay for some time. For example, we stopped at Dangadi means at any place of Dangadi, at any point of Dangadi. In Dangadi means in any hotel of Dangadi. Yes, in for enclosed area, at for point. Now look at this another situation. We use it for a place where we are to do something typical, special. For example, watch a film, study, work, etc. At the cinema, they are enjoying at the cinema. To watch cinema is a special program for them. At work, she is at work, she is busy at work. You studied the use of it in this page. Okay. Dear learners, in this chapter we are discussing the usage of on. Now look at the situations here. We say on fire, on paper, on business, on a diet, on a face, on the way, on your nose, etc. There are some other situations. Come to this second situation. On for a line or surface. The names of a road. The school is on the park road. On denotes the line. Yes. Road is as like a line. On for long streets or roads. For example, on the highway. The town is on the highway. On the Pacific Highway. On the Mahindra Highway. Now look at here. We use on for television, radio, etc. These are the machines. Look at the match on TV. We say on a bus, on a train, on a plane, on a ship. These are means of transport. Also, we say on a horse, on a bicycle, on a motorbike. Now, let's come to this right side. There are some other situations. On for a floor in a house, on the first floor, on the second floor, on the ground floor. He lives on the first floor. Here is another situation. We use on for certain side of something or direction. Go ahead, turn on the right at a junction. On the right, on the left. Yes. Now come here. We use on to talk about a position touching a flat surface. Yes. On denotes the position, but the surface, there should be a surface, and the person or thing should touch the surface. He is sitting on the ground. Preposition links to nouns. Yes. And here is the preposition on. On joins the person with the ground. The person is on the surface of the ground. Yes. Now from here, when we study these examples, we can understand that on is two-dimensional. We use it for a surface having two dimensions. For example, don't leave your glass on the floor. Floor has two dimensions. There were lots of pictures on the wall. A wall has two dimensions. Length, breadth, two dimensions. Similarly, go to this situation. On top of. This is single preposition. it looks like the combination of preposition, but it is a single preposition. Look at the sentence here. There is a monument on top of the hill. Dear learners, in this stage you learned the use of on. There are other uses of on, but this time we discussed some of the important situations. When we learn, it is clear that on for surface or on for line. On for surface having two dimension and on for line. Generally we use on for surface or line. Okay. Dear learners, in this chapter we are practicing usage of in details. Let's look at the situations. In is three-dimensional. It means we use in when we see something as all around. For example, I had £5 in my pocket. In my pocket. Who is that man in the green sweater? Green sweater. Sweater having three dimension. There was a man sitting in the waiting room. A room is an object or place which has three dimensions. Let's see some other situations. Compare in and at with buildings. It was cold in the library. In the library means inside the library building. In for enclosed area, inside area. We were at the library. At the library means choosing a book from outside the library or from any point of the library. Let's come to other situation. And we use in for an area or place where we are staying or living there. Okay, our living place. In for our living place. It means Ramita lives in London. London is a place where Ramita lives. She works in a shoe shop. She works there. Shoe shop is a place. Now come to this right side. There are some other situations. In general, we use in for a country or town which are bigger and at for a smaller place. For example, we finally arrived in Pokhara. Yes, Pokhara is a bigger place. But we can see we finally arrived at Lamai. Lamai may be a small place. Now, look at here. But we can use it with a town if we see it as a point on our journey. If we are traveling somewhere and we are in a journey, we have to stay or we have to change any bus or train. That time the place might be a point. For example, we have to change trains at Birmingham. We are going somewhere and Birmingham is the place where we change trains. Birmingham seems as a point for changing train here. So we use it for Birmingham. Although it is a big city, but we use it before Birmingham. Now look at here. And we can use in for a smaller place if we see it as three-dimensional. For example, I have lived in the village all my life. A village might be a small place. Yes, but we use in because we think village having three dimension in the sentence. Now come to this. Yes. Notice here I work in a farm and come to here. I work on a farm. I work in a factory, we say. On a farm, we say. But on a factory. Okay. And here we use in for travels. using taxis and cars. When we are traveling using taxis or cars, we say in the taxi, in the car. I read the paper in the taxi on the way. Okay. In this video, you learn how to use in different situations. Generally, what we have to understand is that in is three-dimensional. In for enclosed area, yes. In for large area, in for large area, and also we learned that in for somewhere we are living. Yes, you learn these rules carefully and improve your knowledge of English. Dear learners, here is an exercise for you to practice. Complete the letter with in, at, or on. Look at this letter and you fill in, on, or at to complete the letter. Yes, and you study the letter carefully. When you study the letter, you can easily write similar letters if you want, and you revise the rules, structures, examples of using in, add, on previously, and practice this question. Check yourself how much you have learned from this video. Okay. Dear learners, now I am providing you an exercise to practice. You have to complete the sentences with in, at, or on. Now look at the exercise here. There are different sentences. In each sentence, you can find some blank spaces. You fill correct prepositions in these blanks. There is another exercise on right side. This is also similar. You fill in the blanks with correct prepositions. But remember, you have to fill only in, at, or on in the blanks. This is for your practice and to check what you have known about in, on, or at. Thanks for watching my channel. Please like, comment and share the videos.